Let's talk now about business in the 217. It is Springfield's Morning News. I'm Greg Bishop on 92.7 WMAY, Springfield's News and Talk, and we connect each and every Wednesday with Michelle Ownbey, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal, to get an idea of what's going on in and around the business community. Michelle, thanks for taking time with us as always, and let's get right on into it. What do we got going on with a new cookie store coming to town?
Good morning, Greg. Yes, we broke this news yesterday, and to say people are excited would be an understatement. I think we set a record for social media engagement. People are more excited about Crumble cookies than even Malibu Jacks coming to town, apparently.
What is Crumble cookies? I mean, we got a bunch of cookie monsters out there.
I have to admit, I have never had one, and the company's only been around since 2017, so not very old. Started in Utah about 6 years ago, but they now have 800 bakeries all across the United States and Canada, so growing like crazy. The Springfield franchisee is going to be a couple, Matt and Angie Hansel, who have two locations in Peoria. They actually relocated from Utah to Peoria just a couple years ago to launch Crumble cookies in central Illinois, and now they're expanding to Springfield. But part of the concept is they have a rotating menu, so there's only 6 different flavors offered every week. There's always a warm chocolate chip, a chilled sugar cookie, and then the other 4 flavors vary. So every Sunday evening they announce what the flavors of the week are going to be, and the devotees wait for their favorites, and quite a following for this. So they have leased the space over there in Parkway Point that most recently housed 3 Twigs Bakery, and getting started on some renovations, and they hope to be open by the end of the year. So I imagine there will be a line out the door when that happens.
So you're telling me that the announcement that Crumble Cookie is coming to Springfield got more buzz than when Malibu Jacks announced they're coming, or that even when Raising Cane's announced they were coming?
Yes, that was our other one. Up until yesterday, our top 2 had been Raising Cane's and Malibu Jacks, but the post about Crumble Cookies coming just went crazy. Thousands of shares, over 100,000 views. Pretty sure everybody in Sangamon County and beyond knows about it at this point, but
that's
people
pretty
are
incredible.
Very excited.
Yeah, so Crumble Cookie coming to town, that's exciting. We'll obviously likely see a bunch of cookie monsters lining up to get their favorite cookies when they're announced the Sunday before. Talking with Michelle Ownbey, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. So a lot of people interested in that. But what about the interest level in this next issue? We've talked about it on these airwaves several times with those who oppose a carbon dioxide concentrated pipeline being proposed for parts of central Illinois, going through like 14 different counties and spidering all throughout to pump carbon dioxide, which is a waste product from, say, ethanol production from other states. They want to pipe that in and put it straight down into the ground in Illinois. What's going on here, and is there as much interest as maybe there has been for, say, Crumble Cookie, for instance?
Well, I don't know if anything could rival Crumble Cookies, but people are definitely starting to get worked up about this, because you're right, it's pretty close to home. Part of the proposed pipeline would run through Sangamon County, and of course they're talking about one of the major sequestration sites being right there in Christian County outside of Taylorville, although still a lot of things up in the air. So the Illinois Commerce Commission recently recommended denial. They were pretty stern in their wording about the pipeline proposal and said that it's not a benefit to the citizens of Illinois nor in the public interest. And the Sangamon County Board is holding a public hearing on this issue on Monday evening, 5:30 at the BOS Center. And I suspect, just from things I've seen on social media, they're going to get a pretty good turnout for that, because people are starting to hear more and more about it and realize that it would be in their backyard, so to speak. So again, a lot of things in flux. They've been out there trying to acquire easement rights to certain properties, not getting a lot of cooperation at this point. You know, they do have the ability to use eminent domain, although nobody likes to go that route. So still a lot of hurdles in place for Navigator, although they say they are still moving forward.
Well, and it's not just Navigator. Apparently, there's yet another pipeline that's being proposed as well for Wolf and ADM. So that's something else that likely will take a lot of oxygen out of the room when talking about this issue. So you've got that event coming up on the 17th. That's just around the corner. I imagine you are going to have a lot of interested people wanting to go there. And last I checked, I think they had like 33% uptake on voluntary easement agreements with the proposed pipeline. pipeline, which is a low acceptance rate. So we'll see exactly what happens there, but obviously something that's very important for a lot of people interested in what's going on with the pipeline there. Talking with Michelle Ownbey, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. Let's talk now about cannabis. And Michelle, I'm familiar that there's farming education groups, even at Lincoln Land, that are encouraging young people, or really anybody, to start working towards some kind of education in the agriculture business, be it, flying drones over fields or helping manage trucking and whatnot. But they're also saying, hey, if people want to get involved in cannabis cultivation and the science behind that, that's a huge avenue in an industry that continues to grow, no pun intended. But now the University of Illinois Springfield looking to get involved in that.
Yes, absolutely. They have teamed up with Green Flower. This is an online marijuana educator. Green Flower has been around since 2020, so a few years old. They've already partnered with about 20 different universities nationwide, many of them, very well known and legitimate. And so UIS is the latest one to get on board with this. Now, it's not a degree program. It's a certificate. But, they say this is really a way to distinguish yourself when applying for jobs in the industry because, people think bud tender and all that. But as you mentioned, there's so much more now, not just the dispensaries, but the manufacturers, the cultivators, there's management positions. I mean, this is a huge multi-million-dollar business and only continuing to increase every year as it expands. So the idea is that this is kind of like a mini cannabis MBA program. And gives you an overview of the whole industry. There's different tracks involved: compliance, risk management, the agriculture, which you touched on, the healthcare side of things, and just the overall business of cannabis. So I think we're going to start seeing it become more and more popular as a field of study, and certainly there's a lot of career options available in that industry.
Well, and even more businesses planning on opening. We talked with Chris Stone, was that earlier this week or last? I can't remember. Springfield Seed Company and Share, company that's looking to open up here in Springfield soon. So obviously it's a growing industry and one we're going to likely hear a lot more about, including the educational space involved in that industry. Michelle Ownbey, publisher of the Springfield Business Journal. If people need to get their hands on all the great work you guys do, how can they do that?
Well, you can get online at springfieldbusinessjournal.com. You can sign up for Biz Bites, which is our weekly newsletter that will be coming out later this afternoon with a roundup of everything happening in the business community. And, of course, you can also sign up to get the full-blown print edition delivered directly to your home or office.
Michelle Ownbey, greatly appreciate your time as always, and we'll connect again next week. Be safe.
All right. Thanks, Greg.
It is